guys, it's Olivia and welcome back to Live in Literature. Thank you so much for the love and support I received on last video, and if you have not seen it yet, feel free to head over to my channel to check it out. Well guys, today we are getting spicy on the channel.
Oh my god! Oh my god, it's really hard.
Just a little bit spicy. Well, kind of a lot of bit spicy. I mean, kind of or whatever. As you've seen from the title of today's video, we are talking about jealous, obsessive, and possessive main male characters. Now, listen guys, I decided I wanted to hop on here today and talk about hot guys, okay? I want to talk about hot guys, okay? I'm sorry, like, sue me.
You better lawyer up, asshole.
Like, sometimes a girl just wants to come on here and talk about her hot book boyfriends. And I have been making so many book boyfriends recently, and it has been way too much freaking fun. And this is like not a new trope or a new concept. This is just something that I think I wanted to like harp on for the book talk community. And anyone who's been like needing that extra little zhuzh in their like book world, a little like zhuzh, a little oomph from their main male characters. And these men are jealous, obsessive, and possessive. Because as we know, jealousy is the hottest color on a man, all right? Jealousy is the hottest color on a man. Now, full disclosure, as we know, this does not apply to real life, all right? All right, ladies? All right, men? All right? This does not apply to real life, okay? But when a book boyfriend gives touch her and you die vibes, who did this to you vibes, like I will kill everybody in this room for you vibes, I'm a mass murderer who will murder thousands of people for you vibes, I feel like I'm gonna pull my hair out. Like,
crazy? You didn't say I was crazy. You think I'm crazy?
I just love it so much. So much. Headphone warning to all my headphone users out there. I'm just letting you know there might be some screams, there might be some squeals going on, so I'm so sorry about that. Sometimes I just can't take it. Sometimes I just am like, I want a man to be just a little bit like jealous, possessive, and obsessive with me. Okay, I want him to be obsessed with me. And sometimes I don't mind if he's a little possessive, and I also don't mind when he's a little bit jealous, because like that's really hot. So here for you today, I'm here to recommend for you 5 gorgeous novels about jealous and obsessive and possessive main male characters that fall into these categories that just like really give that little extra, that extra dark little zhuzh to your like romance life, like rare, like just.
That was it? Do it again.
Oh, I just love it. I could just eat it up. But before we get into that, I thought I would start a new segment on the channel. This isn't going to be like, this might not be every single video, this might not be every single time, but it's something that I think I want to start. And that's doing a what I am currently reading and what I just finished reading, and kind of giving you guys a star rating. And this one is like, not to lead the witness here, but like I did just finish this book and it's on the list today for jealous, possessive, and obsessive. So the book I just finished reading was Phantasma by Kaylie Smith. And this one was a book talk like that went viral on book talk. People were freaking out about it. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, best romantasy of the year. I'm just going to tell you guys right now, like I'm obviously going to get into this more during this video, but like this book, it's just so good. It's literally so good. I ate it up. Listen, like I freaking loved it. And this is amazing. And I am currently reading the 3rd book in Alex Aster's Lightlark series. And I was going to say Lightlark trilogy, but if y'all didn't see it, Miss Alex Aster announced on Good Morning America that the Lightlark series is going to be a 5-book series, potentially 4 books, and then there's like might be like a little novella is what it sounds like. But it sounds like this is not the end of Lightlark, which we all thought it was going to be. So this one will be very interesting. I'm excited to see how it goes. So I just started it. I'm literally maybe like 20 pages in, and like literally it's already just like the tension is there. The heat is there, like Grimm is there, and speaking of Grimm, we're going to be talking about him today. So, I just want to let you guys know, this is what I just finished reading on my TBR, and this is what I'm currently reading on my TBR. And I thought this might be like a fun little segment for you guys, so you guys kind of know like where I'm at, what I'm reading, and like how slow I'm going. So we'll see how it goes. But without further ado, let's get into jealous, possessive, and obsessive main male characters. Let's get started. Okay, right off the gate, we're just going to get into Phantasma because I just mentioned it, okay? Guys, Phantasma freaking blew my mind. This is an incredibly brilliant concept. It almost has, like, if I could, like, bottle this book up into, like, a couple of words, I would say that it reminds me of Stephanie Garber's Caraval. So give me those vibes. Give me kind of like Caraval energy mixed with, like, The Haunted Mansion and, like, Danny Phantom. So, like, that's the vibes. Like, Danny Phantom mixed with Caraval, mixed with A Haunted Mansion. Like, that's Phantasma. So essentially the plot of this is that there's a young girl named Ophelia. She and her sister are part of this, like, line of necromancers, and in their, like, their matriarchal line of, like, women in their family are all necromancers. And Ophelia is the oldest sister, and so their mother dies, and Ophelia essentially, like, takes on the powers that her mother had as, like, head, like, necromancer of this family. There is this, like, but they find out that their family has, like, come into some debt from their mother, and they need to pay it off, but they don't have the money for it. So Ophelia's younger sister, Genevieve, decides to run away to this, like, place called Phantasma. Phantasma shows up every couple of weeks, like, in these towns, and essentially, like, if you enter Phantasma, you have to survive, like, essentially 9 nights, like, 9 rounds of, like, challenges in this haunted house, and if you win, then the person who owns the house, which is said to be owned by a bunch of devils, grants that person a wish of, like, immeasurable value. So, obviously, Ophelia she realizes that Genevieve runs away to go do this, and so Ophelia enters the Phantasma as well and enters the competition. When she's there, she finds this ghost man, he's a phantom, named Blackwell, and he essentially decides to make her his, like, champion, and he's like, they're kind of like, they have a deal going on where he's like, if you help me, I'll help you in Phantasma, complete all your challenges and stuff, and, like, I'll help you find your sister or whatever. And so Ophelia and Blackwell start working together. And I'm telling you right now, this book is a true romantasy, okay? So if you've watched my fantasy romance versus romantasy video, you will know right off the bat that this is a romance-heavy book. It's romance-heavy. It's not as plot-heavy. And I will say that, like, the ending was a little bit cliche and a little bit quick. Like, it was a little bit too quick. I wish that, honestly, you'd spend another, like, 50 pages on that ending to, like, really zhuzh it up. But I'll be honest, I lived for this book. I lived for the fast-paced energy. I lived for the quick wit. I lived for the banter. The banter between these two is unmatched. I loved this concept that we had going on in here. There was this incredible concept in the book where Kaylie Smith dealt with a topic that, like, of like a not an like an ailment or, like, a disorder that, like, I've never dealt with, but I know people on, like, a day-to-day basis deal with, and that's OCD. And Ophelia has OCD, like, really, really intense, like, intrusive thoughts and OCD tendencies. And it was really fascinating to, like, read this, like, on like, this crazy intense level, and to watch her, like, overcome that. And it was, like, really interesting and super cool. But that's not what you guys want to hear about. What you guys want to hear about is the jealous, obsessive, possessive bits. And I did happen to mark a little page for us so I can just read a little excerpt. And again, I'm not here to spoil the book, so I'm not going to, like, actually give any context to this, but, like, all you need to know. So essentially in this excerpt, like, there's a man there who, like, has messed around with Ophelia a little bit, but Blackwell's there, and Blackwell is, like, seething with, like, anger. And all I'm going to say is, oh, Ophi and I go way back, I assure you. So, I'm not going to say who it is, someone so said. In fact, the last time we saw each other, my fingers were in her. Cuts off. Finish that sentence and I'll kill you, Blackwell threatened. Ophelia was ashamed that all she could think of in this moment was that Blackwell had been right before. Jealousy was a sexy color. That's hot. I need him so bad. I need him so bad. I need him so badly. Like, I need this man more than I need air or water. Like, Blackwell is like, I want to chew on my book. Like, he's one of those where I'm like, I feel like Penn Badgley in Easy A, where he's like, like, I want to, like, chew on the book. Like, it's one of those ones where I, like, want to bite it. Like, it had me, like, giggling and kicking my feet. I was scared. I was kicking my feet. I was giggling. Like, that's how it is. Like, the banter was so, like, amazing and intense, and then the, like, the romance had me, like, my toes were curling, and, like, it had me like so scared though. Like this book is sick. It's disgusting. It's scary. It's so haunted and gross and creepy, full of devils and ghosts and ghouls and like all this stuff. And like I just lived. I lived. I love Phantasma, and Blackwell is so fine. I'm obsessed with him. Next, I figured I would give you guys a little contemporary moment, just because like all of these are basically fantasy romances. Sorry guys, okay? I can't help myself, or romanticities, but like I just wanted to mention one little contemporary romance for basically Elsie Silver's Chestnut Spring series again, because I cannot get over the cowboys, and that is Heartless by Elsie Silver. Guys, Heartless is the best of the Chestnut Spring series. There's 5 books in the series. It's book 2. It is about the oldest brother, Cade Eaton. Cade is a single dad looking for a nanny to basically like help out with his son over the summer, and he needs help. And so he hires a friend, his brother's girlfriend's friend, Willa. And Willa is like wild and reckless and loose and free, and she's so fun. And essentially he hires her for the summer, but he can't stand her because she's just like a crazy loose cannon, and like she's just so wild and different, and he's so grumpy and uptight. And I love an uptight dad and like a free-spirited girl. Like it just is one of my favorite tropes ever. And so this book hits. It hits heavy. It hits deep. And there's one part in the book where basically the rule is, which I don't know if y'all know in the cowboy western world, or maybe it's just in the book world. I don't know if this applies to real life, but basically in the cowboy western world, if you wear the hat, like if you wear the hat of another cowboy, you ride the cowboy. So it's like you wear the hat, you ride the cowboy. Is like, so at one point, like Willa and Cade are at this bar, and she's like talking to other dudes or whatever, and Cade is sitting there like glaring at her and staring daggers at her. And at one point, she picks up another dude's hat off the table and puts it on. And Cade sees red. He's like seeing red. He's like furious because she doesn't know the rule. She doesn't know like wear the hat, ride the cowboy rule. And so like this other guy is like chuckling and getting like a big like kick out of it because he's like, oh, I'm going home with her. And Cade's like, how dare you insinuate you're going home with her? And Willa's like, you can't tell me what to do. What if I did want to go home with him? But even though she doesn't, she wants to go home with Cade. And like it's this whole like tense situation. And it's just so like, ooh, jealousy is such a hot color on Cade Eaton. It's delicious. So again, this one gives jealous, possessive, obsessive vibes. And Cade Eaton is just the sexiest DILF of all time, and I'm obsessed with him. Please read the Chestnut Spring series, guys. It's so good. Next, we're getting into basically what I was talking about earlier, because I was talking about Sky Shade by Alex Aster. Now we're going to talk about Nightbane by Alex Aster. So this is book 2 in the Light Lark series. And I want to talk about Grimshaw. Okay, y'all? Y'all want to talk about dark and mysterious and brooding and will literally slaughter enemies for you? Let's talk about Grimshaw. Let's talk about Grim and Isla. Okay? 2 rulers of like opposing kingdoms. Grim and Isla are both rulers of like different kingdoms. They each have different curses placed on them. And in this book, we start to get to know Grimshaw better and like what his whole deal is, and like, is he actually the bad guy, or like what's going on? And Grim just has some of the best moments like of all time, like in the book world. Like I'll be honest, like Alex Aster really be out here knowing how to write like an incredible one-liner. And this one is giving like who did this to you vibes and like slaughtering your enemies vibes.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
So just to read a small passage from the book. Again, I'm going to try to not spoil anything. This is just to give you guys a little taste of what he can do. So we have, ooh, he's so hard. I like go crazy. I'm like, okay.
Keep it together, man!
Sorry if you guys can hear a leaf blower out there, but I'm going to read this passage. So Grim's voice was lethally calm as he said, which one? She doesn't respond. She's freaking out. Isla, he said carefully, like he was trying very hard to keep all of himself reined in. He'd used her first name. Which one did this to you? She didn't know what he would do or if she wanted to be the one to be responsible. Fine, he said. All of them then. And then there was a chorus of cracks as all of their necks were broken in tandem. They all fell to the floor. Grim opened his hand and her star stick flew from his grip. It's the way he said, fine, all of them. Cracked all of their necks? Like, first of all, it's giving who did this to you vibes. And second, he like a bunch of dudes for her because he's like, he couldn't stand the thought of her getting injured or them hurting her. I need him. I I love him. I need him. I want him. And if anyone is Team Oro versus Grimm in the chat, I'm literally so sorry, but you are delusional. I saw a TikTok recently that somebody said people who are Team Oro over Team Grimm need to be clinically studied in a scientific trial to figure out what's wrong with them. And I agree, because Grimm is everything. Like, I'm obsessed with him. Like, he's so everything. I'm obsessed. He just gives all of the, like, dark shadow boy vibes. And honestly, I live. I eat it up. I'm eating this one up. It's so good. Next, we have another shadow daddy, or a shadow boy, if you will, whatever, to add to the mix. Also, if you can hear the leaf blower, I'm literally so sorry. Anyways, this man's, okay, if you all want to talk about jealous, possessive, obsessive, let's talk about Quicksilver's Kingfisher, okay? My man's Kingfisher, all right?
Enough! I've heard just about enough of that!
I love him so much. I can't wait for the next book of Kaylie Hearts. The series is, like, so good. But essentially, obviously, we kind of know Sarah's Fane was living in this, like, desert land. She essentially, like, gets kidnapped, or not kidnapped. She gets caught by, like, the empress of this land, ends up transporting into the Fae realm. Kingfisher's there. They have this, like, back and forth, enemies to lovers, because he's, like, technically kidnapped her, but he also saved her life. And they're just, like, constantly just, like, fighting, because that he is being so secretive, and he's being such a dick, like, almost the whole time. And then towards the very end, you start to see, like, what's really behind the mask, and, like, who he truly is. And, like, he's actually just, like, a very similar to, like, a Resand kind of situation, where, like, his colors are so much deeper than that. And, like, oh, I just love him. And I just feel like he, like, is so possessive of Sarah's Fane. And he just, like, he also, like, gives her space, though, which, like, I appreciate. He really, like, lets her go in and do her thing. But he's just, like, obsessed with her. Like, he's obsessed. He, like, can't stand if anyone, like, even, like, comes near her. He just, like, gets really tense. And he's just so, like, obsessed with her, which is what I love about him. I would say that jealousy is a gorgeous color on Kingfisher. And I would say that, like, the obsessiveness with Sarah's Fane is unmatched. It's unmatched. Like, I'm gnawing on the iron bars of my enclosure for this man. It is truly mwah, delish. And last but certainly not least is a gorgeous dark academia vampire book that I recommended a couple of weeks ago that I have not stopped thinking about, and that is The Immortal Dark by Tejas Girma. The Immortal Dark. Guys, Susenyo Sagad might be the darkest of dark. I would consider him, I did a video, 2 videos ago, I did Morally Gray versus Morally Black. Susenyo Sagad, morally black. Morally black. Like, destructive in a way that is, like, like, not even, like, redeemable. Like, it's honestly, like, terrifying. Like, it's scary. And I love it. I eat it up. So you have to know, Susenyo Sagad is a vampire. Keaton Nadane, like, technically is the leader of this house that he's a part of, but he wants her out because he is, like, trying to, like, get back something that was stolen from him in this house. And when she's there, like, they are, like, completely clashing. And when I say that they're completely clashing, I mean that they are literally actively trying to murder each other. I mean that they are actively trying to kill each other throughout this entire book. But I will say, towards the end, they reach some sort of, like, a little bit of a truce to, like, essentially let bygones be bygones. But when I say that Susenyo Sagad is scary and dark in ways that, like, I will never be able to, like, comprehend. And when I read them in this book, it is delicious. It is sick. It is disgusting. I love it. And so I have a small passage. And again, I'm trying not to ruin anything. But when I say this man would, like, when he would kill for you, I mean this, okay? Listening to this passage. I'm not going to explain any of the context of this, okay? Let's see if you have a spine. Susenyo spoke close to his ear, utterly calm. Titus jerked and coughed up dark blood, pupils blown wide. It took Keaton a long time to comprehend what had happened. Her mouth parted and stuck in horror. Susenyos had grabbed his spine from the inside. Like, grabbed his spine and pulled it out from the inside.
Did you see my underwear?
No, Patrick.
Did you want to?
Okay, and then Susenyo said, "Then you invited her here? What did you plan to do?" His voice slipped from its calm snarling. "Did you think she'd come alone?" He was talking about Keaton. Something must have pinched or pulled inside because Titus' eyes rolled to the back of his head, so all that remained was white. Keaton staggered back. She could feel Sesenyo's black hatred in every cell of her body. Okay, so this is later in the passage. She says, had it been his loyalty to the Adane family that stopped him, he could have removed her heart without blinking if he wished it, but he hadn't. Even now, his true wrath stretched and enveloped her instead of cutting her down. For her. I mean...
I am soaking wet right now.
The way that this man said, he reached inside of some dude, grabbed his spine, pulled it out, and he's like defending Keaton's honor, being like, what did you think she was gonna do? Did you think she was a moron? Did you think she was an idiot? What were you planning to do with her? Like, you can't touch her, dude. I'm the most powerful being in existence. And it literally, like, it reads that way in the book. My gosh, it might be one of the sexiest things I've ever read. And the fact that, like, he has all this anger stored up for her. Ugh, it's just like, yummalina, delicious, like, ooh, I just need it. I need it. And this, like, is honestly, like, some of the kind of, like, delicious, jealous, and obsessive and possessive kind of behavior that I just, like, love in a book. So that is all the jealous, obsessive, possessive books that I have for you guys today. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you did, do not forget to like, comment, subscribe to the Live in Literature YouTube channel. Guys, we are so close to 900 subscribers, like right before the holidays. I'm trying to hit 1,000 before the end of the year. We're going to be doing 2 amazing giveaways. And I even might be doing a fun special giveaway for the 100th video, which is coming up in 4 videos. So exciting. I love you guys. I'm so obsessed with you guys. You guys are the best. I love you guys the most. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.